Very good afternoon to all. I, Shivani Singh, on the behalf of CBIOD, welcome all the participants for today's session of short-term attachment program. So before we move further, I would like to show you some of the achievements of CBIOD. So can I have a video on the screen?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Rima, for sharing such an insightful introduction about CBIOD and its different activities. All right, everyone. So before proceeding further, I'll briefly introduce about our center and its major objectives. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Kanupriya Vashisht. I'm currently working here as postdoc research associate, and I'm associated with the center since last 2 years. All right. Rima, can we have a first slide? Yes. All right. Center for Innovation and Biodesign is a healthcare innovation hub and a startup incubator. that has been established by ICMR New Delhi, and we are situated at one of the premier institutes in the country, that is PGI MER Chandigarh. The center aims to promote innovation in the field of medical devices, instruments, life sciences, healthcare technology, education, clinical research, and health delivery. Our aim is to deliver such activities by creating a conducive ecosystem with the involvement of multiple stakeholders from different research institutions, government institutions, private as well as government sectors, both locally as well as globally. Briefly coming on to the broad objectives of Center for Innovation in Biodesign. Yeah, our aim is to promote innovation in the field of biodesign in medical devices, instruments, and technology, including life sciences and other branches of healthcare sector, by making healthcare affordable for one and all. Our aim is also to promote automated solutions and approaches for various common medical problems. We also aim to provide manpower training for researchers, clinicians, and faculties working in the area of medical devices. Our aim is also to act as a consultancy center by providing solutions to hospitals and businesses in the area of medical science. So these were the broad objectives of our center. I now request Dr. Tulika to kindly introduce our speaker, Mr. Sanjay Sharma. Over to you, madam.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. Tulika Mehta and I'm director with Kaizen Systems. Our company is working in the field of IT and I'm very glad to be a part of the team CIBIOD. Today we have with us Dr. Sanjay Sharma, who is a project engineer, and he is also a technical consultant with Kaizen Systems. He has wide experience in the field of cyber, and today he'll be talking about cyber and its role in healthcare. Basically, as we study, as we understand that when we are working on our projects, when we are doing the research work, we will be having good number of challenges. And that challenge is how we will be, countering those, how we will be taking care of on those challenges. As we have very finally, heard about the line that it takes 20 years to build a reputation and seconds to ruin that. So we have with us Dr. Sanjay Sharma, who will be explaining all the challenges in the field of cyber, and also will help us how we can counter those, how we can protect our systems, our data from that. Thank you from my side. Over to Dr. Sanjay Sharma.
Thank you, Tulika ma'am and team CIBIOD for conducting this event. So let me share my screen. Okay. So my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Tulika ma'am, and all the team members who are organizing this event. So I think all of you from medical background, na? As Tulika ma'am told me earlier.
Actually, this project is in the field of healthcare, and all the team, which is, all the students, they will be working on the projects which will be a part of the healthcare segment. So we have to upgrade the entire team, entire students, entire team associated with CIBOD, so that whatever research work they are doing in the field of healthcare, they will be upgraded in the field of cyber, or maybe any technical upgradation.
Okay. Got it. So Basically, today I'm here to discuss about the cyber security for the health department, and I think it's a great initiative. So I really appreciate everyone for organizing this session. Basically, cybersecurity is not just a subject for only computer science and IT background peoples. Uh, if we talk about in our country, everyone, whether you are from medical department or management, engineering, whether you are from police department or you are from the bank department, cybersecurity awareness is very, very important for everyone. Because in today's scenario, attacks are increasing in exponential form. So let me change my slide. Okay, so ma'am already introduced me. I'm Sanjay Sharma, working as a project engineer at C3I Lab at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. And my research area is basically malware analysis. You all are aware about the antivirus. So I'm working on antivirus, and currently I'm leading some national projects. So basically, I'm working at C3I Lab. Basically, it's a national interdisciplinary center for cyber security and cyber defense of critical infrastructures. It is a government project and funded by Department of Science and Technology in 2017. It's a dream project of our Indian government. As a name suggests, we work for critical infrastructures like power plant and railway, then water treatment plant, medical, etc. So this type of only lab in India, which is situated at IIT Kanpur, and these are some of our solutions like malware analysis framework, then intrusion detection system. We also provide industrial training, honeypots, cyber asset management solution, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, and we also work in research domain. So till date we have 50 plus publications, and we have 5 plus collaboration, like we are working with the Tehri power plant, then we are also working with the National Highway Authority of India, and we have around 9 industrial control system honeypots we have already deployed. So this is some big background information of the C3I lab. Now, all these things start with the term which is known as internet. Okay, so I think everyone in today's time using internet. So basically, internet is the global system of interconnected computer networks that use the some internet protocol. So that is a TCP/IP, which is known as a transmission control protocol and internet protocol, to communicate between the networks and devices. So devices means your laptop, your desktop, your tablet, your mobile phones. All these devices communicate with each other by using this internet. So it's a network of networks that consist of a private, public, and academic, business, and government networks of local to global scope, linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical network technologies. So I think everyone aware of the wireless and wired medium, like you have some Ethernet cable, and just you plug in into your laptop and you can start using internet. And you have also aware about the routers. By using router you can connect with internet by using some Wi-Fi network. The internet carries a vast range of information information and services, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the WW World Wide Web, electronic email, telephony, and file sharing applications. So in today's scenario, we are completely dependent on the internet. As you know that our honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, always talking about the digital India. So without internet, digital India is not possible. But as you can see that our dependency on internet is increasing, also cyber attacks are also increasing. So if we talk about the history of the internet, the development of internet begins in late 1950s, and after the creation of the ARPANET organization. So first message was sent over the ARPANET in 1969. So after this, we all are using internet by using our mobile phone or laptop devices. So these are some stats which I have mentioned in the slide. So these stats will show some dependency on internet. These are some global facts. As you can see that a total population of a world is about 7.83 billion, and approximately 66.6% are internet users. Okay, and in same way you can see that 59.5% of total population all are internet users, unique internet users. And at last you can see that 53% of people are using social media. So it's a great amount. Now if we talk about our country, that is India, so you can see that India had a population of around 1.39 billion in January 2021, and India's population increased by 13 million between January 2020 to January 21. And if I talk about the internet users in India, then you can see that 624 million internet users in India in January 2021, and the number of internet users in India increased by 47 million between 20 and 21. So internet penetration in India stood at 45% in January 21. So it's a huge amount. So that's why all the cyber attackers or cyber criminals are interested in India. And if we talk about the last 1 to 2 years, India is on third position in whole world in case of cyber attacks. So this is the reason why cyber security is very important in our country. Now we'll see what we will do in every minute on the internet. So it's a last year statistics. So you can see that in every minute around 4,04,000 hours of video streamed by users on Netflix. Then you can see that around 500 hours of video uploads by user in a minute. Then 3,47,000 stories are uploaded on Instagram in a minute. Then you can see that 52,000 users connected to the team, and some are connected with the Zoom application. This is just because of the lockdown condition. That's why we are using a Zoom and a team application. And then you can see that 41.7 million messages are shared within a minute, and 6,659 packages shipped in a minute. And also you can see that 2,704 apps, TikTok apps are installed in a minute. So by looking these stats, it is much clear that we all are spending our time on the internet by using Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, then this online music applications. But when I see this stat, I just very surprised, because there is no fact about the online study. Means we are not using internet for online study as much as we are using for the other this type of activities. So I have less time because I have a meeting at 4:20 in my office. So I've directly come to the topic, that is cyber security. So basically, cyber security is the practice of protecting the systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. These attacks are usually aimed to accessing, changing, or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users, or interrupting normal business processes. So if the first question comes in our mind that why is cybersecurity important and what is cybersecurity all about? So basically, cybersecurity approach has a multiple layer of protection spread across the computers, networks, programs, or data that one intends to keep safe. In an organization, the people, process, and technology must all complement one another to create an effective defense from cyber attacks. Uh, a unified threat management system can automate integration across select security products and accelerate key security operation function, detecting, investigation, and remediation. So next is if I talk about the some cyber security threats, like phishing. You all are aware about the phishing, then malware attacks, then social engineering attacks, and some cyber fraud or image defamation, or website compromise, web application attack. So these are some type of cyber attacks which we see daily in our day-to-day life. So we'll discuss in further slides one by one what are these attacks. So before going towards the cyber attacks, let me discuss three terms which are mostly used in cyber security. That is confidentiality, availability, and integrity. So uh, these three terms are combined and known as a CIA triad. So it's a model designed to guide policies for information security within an organization. So if we discuss about the confidentiality, so basically it's a model which is used to prevent sensitive information from unauthorized access attempts, and it's a common for data to be categorized according to the amount and type of damage that could be done. If it fell into the wrong hands, then it will be a big problem. So more or less some strong measures can be then implemented according to those categories. So let's assume a case. Let me start yeah, blank screen. Okay. So let's assume a case. For example, there is a person one, and whose name is like Alex, and there are some more persons in their office like Joy, and there are some more persons. So their name is like we'll take some random name, Ram, ABC, and XYZ. So now Alex wants to send a message to Joy by using internet. So what he or she will do, he just compose a message, and he will encrypt it by using some public private key combination. So I'm not going in that depth what is cryptography and what is public and private key. I'm just giving you an overview. So what type of measures will be taken in confidentiality. So what Alex will do, Alex will use a set of a public and a private key, and he will encrypt this message. Now after the encryption, this message will be converted into a cipher text, and this cipher text will not be easy to understand without using the key. So after the encryption, what Alex will do, Alex will transmit this message in the office. Now for example, there is a person ABC, and he is acting like a intruder, and he wants to read the message what Alex will be sending to the Joy. So what Alex, what ABC will do, ABC just capture this message and try to decrypt it, but without knowing the key which is used by the Alex, it is not possible to decrypt the message. So there are 4 persons: Joy, Ram, ABC, and XYZ. Each member can receive this, each member can access this message, but he or she cannot read this message without knowing the encrypted key. So Alex, what next Alex will do, Alex just share the key with the Joy. Now the decryption key, the Joy will have the decryption key, which is used for the decryption of the message. So out of these persons, only Joy have the decryption key. So when this message will be received by all these person, only Joy can decrypt the message. So in this way, confidentiality of the message is ensured by using the cryptography here. So it's all about the confidentiality. The message which is transmitted over the public channel, so to ensure that the actual recipient, actual receiver will receive that message, will be ensured by the using public and private key, and this public and private key is the part of the cryptography technique. So next term is integrity. Integrity involves maintaining the consistency, accuracy, and trustworthiness of data over its entire life cycle. So basically, data must not be changed in transit, and steps must be taken to ensure data cannot be altered by unauthorized people. So basically here we are checking that message, our message is not altered or changed during the communication. Then next term is availability. Availability basically means information should be available when it is required. So this involves properly maintaining hardware and technical infrastructure and system that hold and display the information. So basically the motive behind the availability is whenever we need data, it is available for our user. Okay, so let's move forward, and so next slide will be like a motivation behind attack. Why attacker attack on others? So these are some attackers motivation. You can see in the image 93% attacks are just for the financial gain. If you see news or read newspaper, you will get maximum cases like banking fraud, and some type of online fraud, financial fraud. So mostly attackers, what mostly attacker wants, they want money. Then next is 68% are fraudulent activities. For example, like insider fraud is some insider fraud is committed by an employee or contractor of an organization or company through access to business data and system. Insider fraud often begins with a small amount of data, and if undetected, increase over time. So next, then you can see that next is 57% around defamation attack, then 48% cyber terrorism, and 53% disruption of services, then 32% attacks are driven just because of the fun. So these type of attacks will be done by the some school going students and teenage students. So next is reason. Next is a reason attribution. Why so much incident are increasing? So these are some reasons, like lack of security cultures, and leakage of information user. Then you can see that 17% just because of the user awareness, And I think this one is the most important part because we all are not aware about these technology stack. We don't have much knowledge about the technology and their consequences. That's why these type of attacks are happening. So, if you talk, if I talk about the cyber security breach, so I think user awareness and a lack of a security culture is very important. We are in a practice like अगर आप किसी से बोलोगे कि your password is very weak, तो लोग कहेंगे कि मेरे फोन में क्या डेटा है, कोई अटैक करके क्या कर लेगा. तो ये जो कल्चर है, वी हैव टू चेंज दिस टाइप ऑफ अवर हैबिट. हमें ये हैबिट अपनी बदलनी है. ठीक है. सो I think lack of a security culture and user awareness is very important for us. Now, digital transformation in healthcare. So there are some facts like 43% of healthcare organizations have seen attacks. Where is my cursor? Okay, 43% of healthcare organizations have seen attacks increases by between 26 to 50%, with a further 29% experiencing more than a 50% increase in attacks. And then 85% of healthcare organizations said that within 5 years, mobile will be their primary means of accessing cloud-based services. So basically, I'm not a medical guy. I'm a security researcher, so I don't know which type of devices you all are using, but I know the protocols which you are using on the internet, like for the file transfer, you are using file transfer protocol. For accessing internet, you are using HTTP service. And so this type of protocols, which I know you are using on the internet. So, and which type of technology stack you are using in the medical department, like you are using cloud services to store the patient data or your data. And if I talk about the IoT devices like Internet of Things, so there is a machine-to-machine communication. So I don't have much knowledge about that machines, that IoT devices, but I know the protocols which are used during the communication when these two devices are communicating with each other. So next is 88% of healthcare organizations said their reliance on data stored in cloud is growing. And it is also a big problem because we are trusting third-party solutions which are providing cloud services, and we are storing our data on third-party services. Now, next is digital transformation in healthcare. COVID-19 has disrupted the healthcare industry and accelerated the adoption of virtual care. So according to Verizon report, 88% of healthcare organizations said their reliance on data stored in the cloud is growing, and 85% of healthcare organizations said that within 5 years, mobile will be their primary means of accessing cloud-based services. This increased adoption of mobile and cloud technology bring many benefits to healthcare, but also increased risk. More devices outside the protected perimeter means a larger attack surface for cyber criminals to target. So the value of a healthcare record on the black market is now higher than credit card details. If I talk here, I've mentioned a keyword that is a black market. So basically, it means the dark net or dark web. Uh, According to the CBS report, medical records can sell up to $1,000 each on the dark web, while social security number and credit card details sell for $1 and up to $110 respectively. So medical data is much more costly than these credit card details. So why? Because healthcare records often contains a lot of personal identifiable information in one neat package. Additionally, it can take months for a healthcare data breach to be discovered. So this is the most important point. Basically, the medical peoples are not from the computer science background, so they face some problem in investigation this type of incident. So enabling cyber criminals to extract much more valuable data. In contrast, credit card theft can be detected by victim on their bank statement within a minute, and the card can be cancelled immediately. But this type of thing will not be possible in the medical case. Now, importance of cyber security in healthcare department. So almost 300% rise in cyber attacks in India in 2020. This data was released by the Indian government in the parliament. So I have mentioned a link. You can go through this link and you will get the actual data. So cyber attacks in India, second most attacked country in Asia Pacific region, says IBM Security. Police exam database with the information on 5 lakh candidates goes up for sale. And COVID-19 test result of Indian patient leaked online. Then user data from Just Pay for sale on dark web. Big Basket user data for sale online. An academy learns lesson about security. They also breached hacker steal healthcare record of 6.8 million Indian citizens. So you can see that the importance of cyber security in India. So these are the some cyber attacks. Then in today's if I talk about the today's electronic world, cybersecurity in healthcare and protecting information is vital for the normal functioning of organization. Many healthcare organization have various type of specialized hospital information systems, then e-prescribing systems, practice management support system, clinical decision support system, radiology information system, and some computerized a physician order entry system. So these thousands of devices that compromise the Internet of Things, so must be protected from the cyber attacks. So these are the some example of assets which healthcare organization typically have in addition to those mentioned below. So like email, physical security, and legacy system. So these three things are also very important in healthcare department because we are completely dependent on these three services. So the first one is email. I think everyone in today's scenario, everyone is using email. So email is basically a primary means for communication within a healthcare organization. Information of all kind is created, received, and sent and maintained within email systems. Mailbox storage capacities tend to grow with the individuals storing all kinds of valuable information such as intellectual property, financial information, patient information, and many other type of information. As a result, email security is I think very important as a part of the cyber security in healthcare, because our maximum data is on the email. And now next is physical security. So unauthorized physical access to the computer or devices may lead to its compromise. So I think you all should ensure one thing, that without your permission and no one is allowed to access your computer devices or mobile phones. So for example, there are physical techniques that may be used to hack devices. Physical exploitation of a device may defeat technical controls that are otherwise in place. Physically securing a device, then is important to safeguard its operation also, proper configuration and data. Next term is legacy system. Legacy systems are those systems basically that are no longer supported by the manufacturer. So legacy system may include applications, operating systems, or otherwise. One challenge for cybersecurity in healthcare is that many organizations have a significant legacy systems. The disadvantage of a legacy system is that basically they are typically not supported anymore by the manufacturer. So just assume a basic example. विंडो एक्सपी जो है या विंडो जो 7 है उसको माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने डिसकंटिन्यू कर दिया है, बट मैनी ऑफ अस आर स्टिल यूजिंग विंडोज एक्सपी एंड विंडोज 7. So in case if there is any bug or is there any issue, so you will not get the patch from the manufacturer. जब उन्होंने उसका सपोर्ट ही बंद कर दिया है, then how will you get the patch from the company? तो हमें उसका पैच नहीं मिलेगा और उसी का फायदा उठाएगी हमारी जो साइबर क्रिमिनल्स हैं, जो उसी का फायदा वो उठाएंगे, उस बग को वो एक्सप्लॉइट करेंगे एंड देन दे विल एंटर इन योर प्रेमिसेस by using internet. So never use these type of legacy systems which are no more supported by the manufacturer. Update your systems properly, update your antivirus properly, update your operating system properly. Now let me change my slide. So now if I talk about the some healthcare stakeholders, so basically these 4 type of stakeholders exist in the healthcare. The first one is patients. So basically patients needs to understand how to securely communicate with their healthcare providers. So it's a responsibility of a patient to understand this cyber security, to aware themselves. So why this is important? If patient engage virtually with their healthcare provider, and whether through a telehealth platform or e-visits, secure messaging, or otherwise, patient need to understand the privacy and security policies, and also how to keep their information private and secure. Then next stakeholder is workforce members. So all the medical guys, you are basically all you guys. Workforce members need to understand the privacy and security policy of the healthcare organizations. So regularly security awareness training is required to the healthcare team members, healthcare departments, so that workforce members are aware of threats and what to do in case of actual security incident. That is more important. If there is any cyber attack, then what will you going to be do? Workforce member also need to know who to connect in the event of a question or a problem. So then next is C-suite. So basically what I mean here is chief information security officer to make the executive decision about the cyber security program. So basically CISO, chief information security officers are responsible for the cyber security policies, then regulation in the department, and they are also responsible for any cyber attack or cyber incident. So these chief information officer have the executive level responsibility to buy in the greater degree of top down buy-in order of the organization cyber security program. Then next is vendors, market, suppliers. So this is also a major part in the health department. A major retailer was breached because of a major cyber attack on its heating and cooling and air conditioning vendor system. So I'm giving just an example. For example, a vendor is providing a heating, cooling and AC services to any organization. So what he will do, he just come into your premises and install the AC or any device. So after entering in your premises, what he or she will do, he just look here and there, and if he found any computer in unattended situation, then he will just go to that system and try to exfiltrate the credential from there. So in this way, these vendors and market supplier are also responsible for the cyber attacks. And some basically large organization have their robust cyber security in healthcare program. However, many of these organizations also rely upon tens of thousands of vendors to the extent that these vendors have a lack of security policies or have inferior security policies. This can create a problem for the healthcare organization. So just assume that there is, for example, there is a hospital. There is a hospital XYZ, and they are using a website of a vendor. Okay. So there is a vendor that is ABC, and their website is abc.com. So healthcare department have their own cyber security policies, and they all are using antivirus, they all are using firewall, so they have all cyber security parameters, so they are secure. But the problem is that one of the employee in this department just visit the abc.com. so एक एम्प्लॉई है जो abc.com जो वेबसाइट है वो उसको विजिट करता है, and this website is under the control of some cyber criminals. So basically cyber criminals are unable to attack on this hospital directly just because of the security features. So what this cyber criminal do, he will attack this abc.com website and just upload a malware there. Now whenever this employee visit this website, this malware will be uploaded on the hospital's system, and after the installation of this malware will going to spread by itself using some network कनेक्शन. सो इसके बाद होगा क्या कि जितने भी हॉस्पिटल के अंदर कंप्यूटर्स होंगे वो सारे इन्फेक्ट हो जाएंगे. तो यहाँ पे गलती किसकी है? सो द गलती किसकी यहाँ पे? गलती है यहाँ पे वेंडर की, वेबसाइट की. तो उसकी गलती की वजह से हमारा जो मतलब हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट था वो कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गया. तो एक ये भी हमारा यहाँ पे सिनेरियो होता है. So I think it makes sense. Now cyber security challenges in healthcare department. So basically there are many more type of cyber attacks, but today I'm going to discuss just some important cyber security attacks like malware, social engineering attack, cloud threats, misleading websites, and employee error. And these are some important type of attacks. So first one is a malware and ransomware. So basically malware is a software or a program or a code that is used to infect that victim's machine, and after the infection cyber criminal will exfiltrate the important data from that machine. And ransomware is also a type of malware which is used to shut down the individual devices and servers or entire network. In some cases cyber criminal will also ask for a ransom amount to decrypt your data. And the next one is a social engineering attack. An example of social engineering attack is phishing. So phishing is a threat to a computer system and devices are not just simply these are just not a simply malware. However these phishing attacks are the initial point of a compromise for a significant security incident. So physically phishing is particularly effective since the individual user is targeted and may be fooled into disclosing sensitive information by clicking on any malicious link or opening a malicious attachment like any doc file or any PDF file. So phishing emails basically tends to tends to be the most common form of attack, although phishing may also occur by way of websites, social media, text message, voice call, and like that. Now, next is cloud threats, and increasing amount of protected health information is basically being stored on the cloud. So without a proper encryption, this can be a weak spot for the security of a healthcare organization. Almost, I think almost every organization has adopted cloud computing. I think many of you also are using OneDrive or Google Drive, so this type of cloud computing services, and you also store your business data and your personal data on these type of services. So with this adoption of the cloud comes the need to ensure that the organization's cloud security strategy can protect against the top threats to the cloud security. Then next is a misleading websites, misconfiguration of cloud security settings are also a lead cause of cloud data breaches. So many organizations uh, cloud security postures management strategies are inadequate for protecting their cloud based infrastructures. Now let's move further. So I've already discussed about the malicious software. So basically malware is a term which is used for the malicious software. So if we talk about the 90s, why people write the malware. So at that time, people just use these malware for the fun. So they spread that to other machine and display a message, something like this, like a Happy New Year 1999 or a Happy Birthday. But if we talk about the today's scenario, people attack or people write the malware just for the financial gain. Some organization also buy the malware for the password details, credit card details, bank information, ransom amounts, intellectual property, and trade secrets. So these are some commonly used malwares like ransomware, virus, backdoor, worms, bots, Trojan horse, and many more are there. Now, social engineering is basically a method of contact and trust building in order to elicit an action or a divulging of information that can be used for malicious purpose, such as entry to a building or performing cyber attacks. So basically, what we will do in social engineering, we just build our relationship with others, and we try to build the trust between the between the other people's. So after that, after building the trust and our relationship with others, we try to extract some information from them, like their personal information, what where they are working, and how many members are there in their family, then their family names, their date of birth, their bike details, their car details. So all these information are very important for cyber attack, because if we talk about a cyber kill chain, there are some steps. Like the first step is recon. Recon means information gathering. I think you heard a word, एक word होता है रेकी करना, जो पुलिस यूज करती है. सो बेसिकली द रेकी का मतलब क्या होता है कि जब भी हम कोई क्राइम करते हैं, बिफोर डूइंग दैट वी विल गैदर सम इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ द विक्टिम. जैसे अगर मुझे कोई बैंक अगर रॉबरी करनी है, सो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई जस्ट गो टू द बैंक एंड ट्राई टू एक्सट्रैक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन एज मच एज पॉसिबल, लाइक कितनी विंडोज हैं, कितने डोर्स हैं, और किस टाइम पे मैक्सिमम वहाँ पे लोग होते हैं, एंड पुलिस स्टेशन कितनी दूर है वहां से. So all this information is very important for any type of attack. So in the same way, when we plan a cyber attack, the first step is reconnaissance, and the reconnaissance means we just gather the information of the टारगेट मशीन है. तो अब टारगेट मशीन जो हमारी है उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन हमें गैदर करनी होती है. तो बेसिकली द इंफॉर्मेशन वी आर इंटरेस्टेड, लाइक IP address, then which type of operating system is running on that machine, then what type of services are running on that machine, then the person who is using that machine and the information related to that person, like his name, his date of birth, his address, how many members are in their family. So all these information are very important for any cyber attack, because people always use passwords in their mobile phones and email, and these passwords basically consist of such type of information like their name, their date of birth. हम जब भी कोई पासवर्ड बनाते हैं तो कुछ इसी तरीके का पासवर्ड बनाते हैं, लाइक अगर मैं कोई पासवर्ड बनाऊंगा तो मैं अपना नाम, अपनी वाइफ का नाम, किसी दूसरे की वाइफ का नाम, कुछ इस तरीके के मैं नाम यूज करूँ, कीवर्ड्स यूज करूंगा पासवर्ड में. So basically what attacker will do, attacker try to extract these type of information by using social engineering attack. So let's move further. So here's some facts, like 91% of attacks by sophisticated cyber criminals start through email, and only about 3% of malware tries to exploit an exclusively technical flaw. The other 97% instead target users through social engineering. 55% of all emails are spam. Social engineering scam stole over 5 billion worldwide from 2013 to 2016. So basically, if we talk about the all type of cyber attacks, out of them 98% of cyber attacks rely on the social engineering. Then the phishing is basically a phishing is basically a type of a social engineering attack, even often used to steal user data, including login credential and credit card information. So phishing techniques that are commonly employed, like link manipulation, smishing, phishing, and website forgery. So I think you all are using email services and WhatsApp and social messengers. So हमेशा आपको इस तरीके के मैसेजेस या इस तरीके के आपके पास ईमेल्स आते रहते होंगे. So we have a less time, so let's move further. So if you get any email, so how to spot that whether it's a normal email or it's a phishing? So these are some key parameters you can check in the email, like mismatched and misleading information, then use of urgent or threatening languages, promises of attractive rewards, or request for confidential information, unexpected emails, suspicious attachments. Then these are some general principles, like be cautious of all communication, beware of pop-ups, install a phishing filter, then do not click on phishing links. Then I have one file. So I just want to show you one file which is malicious. Let's assume that I am a cyber criminal and I want to attack XYZ hospital employee. So what I will do, I just craft a email, and उस email को बनाते समय सबसे पहले तो मैं ये देखूंगा कि वो जो एम्प्लॉई है जिसको मुझे अटैक करना है वो किस तरीके की चीजों के लिए इंटरेस्टेड है. सो अब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आप किसी एक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. सो आई थिंक आप लोग भी मतलब किसी पब्लिकेशन के लिए आते होंगे, कुछ पेपर पब्लिश करते होंगे, कुछ सर्च करते होंगे. तो मैं इसी तरीके से आपके लिए एक ईमेल क्राफ्ट करूंगा, ठीक है. एंड उस मेल के साथ में मैं एक अटैचमेंट अटैच कर दूंगा एंड आपको वो भेज दूंगा मैं, ठीक है. सो जैसे ही वो अटैचमेंट आप ओपन करेंगे तो वो फाइल जो है वो आपके कंप्यूटर में इंस्टॉल हो जाएगी और आपके नेटवर्क में जितने भी कंप्यूटर्स और डिवाइसेस होंगे वो उन सबको कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लेगी और मैं यहाँ से बैठ के आपके सारे मशीन्स को कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ मैं, ठीक है. सो मैं फाइल को दिखाता हूँ कि अगर आपके पास उस तरीके की फाइल आती है तो आप कैसे इंश्योर करेंगे कि वो जो फाइल है वो हमारी malicious है कि नहीं है. So you can see that there is two files, payment.doc and statements.doc. Docker. So I just want to transmit this file into any hospital employee's computer. ठीक है, तो what I will do, I just craft a email. मैं एक email बनाऊंगा, and in that email I will mention something like this: please find the payment of e-visit, or please find the payment of medicines. ठीक है, and I will attach this payment.doc word file in that email. So जब भी वो आपको email मिलेगी, and you will download this doc file, and you will just open this doc file. तो इसमें एक malware embed किया गया है. That malware will be installed on your machine, and जैसे ही वो install होगा, and जैसे इसको वहां पे नेटवर्क में और machines मिलेंगी, वो सबको compromise कर लेगा. ठीक है, so अगर इस तरीके की कोई मेल आती है तो उसमें कोई अटैचमेंट है, तो आप कैसे चेक करेंगे कि वो फाइल हमारी मैलिशियस है कि नहीं है? सो फॉर दैट देयर इज अ वन सर्विस व्हिच इज नोन एज virustotal.com. There is a service which is known as virustotal.com. Okay, so here we have a three options like file. You can just upload a file, and you can also check any URL before visiting it. And also if you have any large file, so you can just generate its a hash function and just copy here that hash function. So what I will do, I just upload that payment file here. Okay, so just upload, and here we have the result. So now you can see that this file contains some type of a downloader or a dropper. Okay, so what this file will do, it just install in your machine and will download some other malwares, and it will provide the remote access to the अटैकर. तो इस तरीके से मतलब फाइल्स को हम यहाँ पे चेक कर सकते हैं. सो जब भी आपके पास कोई इस तरीके की फिशिंग ईमेल आती है एंड यू हैव सम अटैचमेंट्स, इसके बारे में कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है, तो जस्ट विजिट दिस virustotal.com एंड सिंपली अपलोड दैट फाइल एंड यू विल गेट द रिजल्ट. ओके, so I think it's already 4 p.m. and we are running out of time. Okay. Basically, cybersecurity is it's not possible for me to cover in just 1 hour. It will take months or weeks to cover all the topics. So these are some strategies for improving cybersecurity in your organization, like
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Yes, very true.
Sorry, ma'am.
I said that's very true. This is, I mean, this is a vast topic, and it will
Yes,
require a
ma'am.
number of sessions in case, you know, we have to learn this thoroughly. But yes, to create
Exactly.
the awareness, to make the understanding, yes, in one lecture we can portray that.
Okay, okay. So just give me a 4 to 5 minutes. So these are some strategies for improving the cyber security according to the health.it.government. Indian healthcare organization can improve their cyber security by implementing the following practices. So establish a security culture, then perfect mobile devices, and maintain good computer and mobile habits. Then use a firewall, install and maintain, update antivirus software. So why antivirus update is important, I will tell you in some other time. Plan for unexpected, control access to protected health information, use strong passwords and change them regularly, and limit your network access, and control your physical access. So it's all about the cyber security, basic cyber security awareness. And if you have any problem or any type of issues, you can contact me, or you can contact Tulika ma'am. So thank you, ma'am. It's
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you. I, on the behalf of Kaizen Systems, would like to thank Sanjay Sharma for such a beautiful presentation. And I am also very thankful to the entire team CIBIOD for conducting such platforms wherein we can incorporate such kind of education in context to cyber security. Or Kaizen systems is also available to the entire project team of CIBIOD for machine learning, for any kind of IT support, whether it is cyber, whether it is Android, whether it is machine learning, whether it is Python. We have extended. We will be very thankful and we will be very grateful if you connect us, and we are open to provide any kind of help to the project team. Thank you from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving such good views, and thank you, Sanjay sir, for having such a great lecture. I also believe that after listening your lecture, me and our ICMR CFID team as well as the students will be enlightened about cybersecurity and its protocols and how they can apply in their daily lives. So I think so. This is very good and enlightening information which has been provided by you. So a big thanks to Sanjay sir and a big thanks to Tulika ma'am for having this session with us. And I hope this session will enlighten all of us. If you have any doubts, any queries, I think so we are open for questions right now. So you can add your question in the chat box if possible, or you can mail us, or you can mail Dr. Sanjay sir also. Now talking about the next session, the next session will be on the next Saturday, and the details of the same will be provided to you via mail or the social media. Yeah, definitely. So I think so that's it from our side. And thank you everyone for joining with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
ma'am.
everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.